Well, if you're looking for something a little bit more nuts this Christmas, look no further than the Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra, who is presenting the Nutcracker, Ellington, and Elf. The concert's taking place at 1 o'clock today at the West End Cultural Center and again at 7:30. They will be presenting a classic of the holiday jazz repertoire, Duke Ellington's Nutcracker Suite. And if the Sugar Plum Fairies and the Waltzing Flowers were not enough, they have brought in some special holiday magic direct from the North Pole to swing his way through a swinging soundtrack. I'm talking, of course, about Buddy the Elf, who has joined us live in our Classic 107 studios. Good morning, Buddy.
Good morning, Nolan. How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'm so delighted to have you here in the studios today.
Me too.
Have you had your spaghetti and syrup yet this morning?
Yeah, I actually got to put on some gumdrops. I put on a few gummy worms. I put on a few Pop-Tarts. You got to round it out. Get all the food groups in there.
Exactly. So I didn't know, Buddy, that you were such a fan of jazz. What do you think it is about jazz that puts people in the holiday spirit?
It's so fun and sparkly in my ears. It makes me all excited. I like to dance a lot. We dance all the time in the North Pole, so it's a shoo-in that these swinging tunes would make me want to dance. The big band, brass instruments are really shiny.
And what do you think about jazz in Winnipeg compared to, you've been to New York City, you've been to the jazz capital of the world in some ways. What do you think about jazz here in Winnipeg?
Honestly, some of the best jazz musicians in the world live here. It's wild. It's pretty crazy. I think it's because we have a lot of downtime in the winter with all the snow and the cold. People stay inside and they toot their horns and they learn about their pianos. They're really, really good. And we got some great musicians here, all Manitoba made. It's pretty wild.
I bet. And so they're about to play a holiday classic, a jazz take on the Nutcracker that Duke Ellington did. What can you tell us about that kind of version of the Nutcracker versus the ballet one that most people know?
Well, Santa's good friends with Duke Ellington. Met him a few times. Told me all about him. And he is just a wonderful musician. He made this transition from Tchaikovsky's really amazing, it's very, very classic, the ballet, right? And we all know it. And it's surprising how many songs we know we don't realize are from that ballet if you don't listen to it all the time. So Duke Ellington took all that sweet, sweet music and then in the 60s made this album, the Nutcracker Suite, which was... It's just so fresh and different. You might not even recognize some of the songs at first because they're so different. And then as they go along, you start picking them up and realize that's the Russian song. That's the Peanut Brittle Brigade. That is the Sugar Plum Fairy called Sugar Rum Cherry.
Aha.
Sugar Rum Cherries. Well, I'm not supposed to drink rum because last time I got in trouble. So it's good. It's fun to listen to. But it's also fun to drink.
That's not rum in there, is it?
Absolutely not. This is just a hot cocoa with 18 marshmallows.
Okay, good. Phew, goodness. I was afraid we were about to have another conversation. So What else can audiences expect from the concert today?
Well, Buddy the Elf, will be telling my story. Jon Favreau is a cool director from L.A., and he adapted my life story into a movie in 2003. And it's about me. I was raised in the North Pole, once an orphan, and then later told that my dad lived in New York, so I made the journey because... He used to be on the naughty list. He's working on it. He is working on it. So it tells a story about me traveling from the North Pole to New York to bring Christmas cheer to everyone far and near, maybe sing a couple tunes, maybe eat some street candy, which, you're not supposed to do. That's what Santa said. But you know what?
You can't help it sometimes.
It's too good.
What kind of music do you listen to, or what kind of music can the audience listen to as they see you reenact your amazing journey that was put into that movie about yourself?
Well, it's actually got a really, really great jazz soundtrack. There's a song called Pennies from Heaven by Louis Prima. Obviously, You Keep Me So Young by Frank Sinatra. Mm-hmm. We got Let It Snow by Ella Fitzgerald. So these are some really, really great jazz songs from different eras, especially from New York. It's got that vibe, that big city vibe. So bringing that style and that feel to the show, the big band has been practicing their butts off, and we got a really fun rehearsal tonight that we're gonna figure everything out. They're gonna make sure to tell my story in a fun, exciting way.
Absolutely. I understand that there's also a dance component to this show, I'm told. What can you tell me about the dancer that we'll be able to see?
Absolutely. My good friend, Kalantha Jensen, Callie, she'll be coming and she'll be playing Clara, starring as Clara in the Nutcracker side of the show. And she's going to, obviously, it's a little less ballet, a little more swing, a little more jazz, a little more hip hop. So she is a wonderful dancer. She's a great background here in the city. And then she'll also be joining me as a cast of characters in Elf. Wow. So she'll be coming out as some fan favorites, including my great pal Jovi. Might make an appearance. So it's I think it's really going to be a fun, eclectic show with different styles and something for everyone. Definitely bring the kids.
Absolutely, we'll bring the kids. We've been telling your story for, gosh, quite a few years now, ever since you first made that trek down from the North Pole. What do you think audiences love about the story of Buddy the Elf that has kept it alive for all these years?
Well, I think part of it is the very handsome Will Ferrell portrayed Buddy the Elf portrayed me in the film, and Will Ferrell's energy and his excitement. I mean, it almost rivals my Spirit of Christmas. It's close. But I think he has such a magical whimsy and such a childlike wonder, especially in the face of New York, which can be a little bit scary sometimes. But there was so much amazing improvisation in that film. And the writing is so sharp and funny, and so I think that's really what brought excitement to the audiences, and what it still makes it a classic in this era and this time. Rewatched it this year, just to dust off an old classic.
Sure.
And I laugh every single time at so many elements of the film. When he gets hit by the cab, which hurts. The yellow ones don't stop. Yellow ones don't stop. Don't use a crosswalk as hopscotch, people. It's not safe.
See, good. We get you in here to advertise the concert. We get a public safety warning.
Exactly.
There are so many reasons to have you in. You should just come back all the time. The Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra also performs in a lot of places around the city. I'm thinking about the brand new Des Hotels Concert Hall, for instance.
Yes.
And this will be at the West End Cultural Center. What do you think is special about performing a holiday concert in a smaller, sort of cozier kind of venue here in the city? Well,
I think the West End Cultural Center is a really great venue because it's amazing. They've got the loges up at the top. You can kind of see the stage really wonderfully from anywhere in the room. So there's no way to miss any of the action. And I think being closer and more intimate with the audience, be more intimate with the band members and with performers. Obviously, I'm gonna go into the audience. I'm gonna be gently interacting with the audience and having some fun.
Yeah.
But that space allows you to really connect. And the sound is amazing in that room. It's phenomenal. You really get all of the big band coming at you for the whole show. So, comparatively to some of the bigger spaces, it's nice to be a lot more connected with your audience and a lot more connected with being able to go out and interact and be around the room and easily get back to the stage when I need to hit my cues. That'll be fun. And then also, they have an excellent restaurant across the street called Feast. I don't know if you've ever been there.
I have.
Tried that. I put maple syrup on pretty much everything, but they got some really nice Bannock
on
pizzas.
Bannock, I was just going to say.
It's great. Delicious.
Are you coming back for seconds after all this is done?
I just might. I think I'll be there tonight. I might pop in. We'll
see. Very good. Before you scamper away, I have to ask, because everybody is going to want to know this. You recently watched your escapades again, just to brush up on the story again. When you look back at all the things you said, all the kooky things you did in that movie, what was maybe the funniest thing that you said in that journey to New York to find your dad?
Well, I really love the moment when I answer the phone. Buddy the Elf, what's your favorite color? In a business setting is a wonderful moment. I think the bounce onto the trying to bounce up onto the top of the Christmas tree in the apartment to put on the topper and
That looked
completely
like it
knocking.
hurt.
You know what? I'm very limber and very limber. I stretch before I decorate because these kinds of accidents happen. I think you smell of beef and cheese to the mall Santa, who is clearly an imposter. I've recently learned that you got to respect your mall Santas. These people are representatives of the North Pole. They're all very good people.
They're working very hard.
But they do stink sometimes. So you sit on a throne of lies. You smell of beef and cheese. I apologize just for saying that to the mall Santa. But at the time, I thought he was trying to, hone in on Santa's gig. There's only one Santa, people. You got to believe in him.
That's right.
That's important.
Could have been worse. He could have been smelling like the sugar rum that you're not supposed to drink.
I don't drink that, so I don't know
what it smells like. Good for you.
Like at all. Yeah.
That was a test, and you passed.
Yes! Woo! Oh, man, tests, pop quizzes are the hardest, so I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Keeping you on your toes. Not
My
that
curly toes.
You got it. Buddy the Elf performing with Winnipeg Jazz Orchestra tonight, 1 o'clock and at 7:30 at the West End Cultural Center. Thanks so much for stopping by the Classic 107 studios, buddy.
Nolan, thanks for having me on. You're the best.
Aw.